Is Donald Trump a racist? Donald Trump's racial views and rhetoric have been a subject of intense scrutiny and debate throughout his political career. Reports from The Nation and Associated Press highlight numerous accusations of racism dating back decades before his presidency. These allegations stem from his business practices, public statements, and policy positions. Housing discrimination lawsuit. In 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against Trump Management Company, Donald Trump, and his father, Fred Trump, alleging racial discrimination in their rental practices. The suit claimed that Trump employees marked black home seekers' applications with a C for colored, and black testers were told apartments were unavailable while white testers were offered units. Doormen were allegedly instructed to discourage black renters by lying about prices or vacancies. Despite Trump's denials, a settlement was reached in 1975, requiring the company to take steps to prevent discrimination. These measures included advertising to minority communities and providing the Urban League with vacancy lists. A second lawsuit was filed in 1978 alleging continued discrimination, though Trump and his lawyer denied the charges. Central Park 5 ads. In 1989, following the Central Park jogger case, Donald Trump took out full-page ads in 4 New York City newspapers, including the New York Times. These ads, which cost $85,000, ran under the headline, "Bring back the death penalty, bring back our police," and were widely interpreted as a call for the execution of the 5 black and Hispanic teenagers accused of the crime. The accused, Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salaam, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise, were exonerated in 2002 when the real perpetrator confessed. Despite their proven innocence, Trump has never apologized for his role in inflaming public opinion against them. As recently as 2019, he continued to express doubts about their exoneration. Native American controversies. Donald Trump's remarks about Native Americans have been criticized as insensitive and often racist. In a 1993 congressional hearing, Trump claimed that many Native American casino owners don't look like Indians to me, questioning their legitimacy. This statement resurfaced in 2016 when he referred to Senator Elizabeth Warren as Pocahontas after she revealed Native American ancestry. During his presidency, Trump made contentious actions and statements regarding Native American issues. He signed executive orders expediting projects like the Dakota Access and Keystone XL pipelines, which faced significant opposition from Native nations. He reduced the size of Bears Ears National Monument by 85%, a monument whose creation had been indigenous-led. At a 2017 ceremony honoring Native American veterans, Trump again referred to Senator Warren as Pocahontas, an act many considered disrespectful. His administration was also accused of undermining tribal sovereignty and mismanaging the COVID-19 pandemic's impact on Native communities. Trump did sign legislation benefiting some tribes, including federal recognition for certain groups and increased funding for Native American health initiatives. However, his overall record on Native American issues remains a subject of debate and criticism. Obama birther movement. Donald Trump played a significant role in promoting the birther conspiracy theory, which falsely claimed that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. This racially charged movement gained traction during Obama's presidency, with Trump emerging as one of its most prominent voices. In 2011, Trump publicly questioned Obama's birthplace, demanding to see his birth certificate and claiming to have sent investigators to Hawaii. Despite Obama releasing his long-form birth certificate in April 2011, Trump continued to express doubts about its authenticity for years. His birther claims also extended beyond Obama, targeting other politicians of color. In 2016, he amplified similar theories against Senator Ted Cruz and Vice President Kamala Harris. The birther movement was widely criticized as a racist attempt to delegitimize America's first black president. Trump's persistent promotion of this conspiracy theory played a significant role in his political rise, appealing to voters who harbored racial resentment. Even after reluctantly acknowledging Obama's U.S. birth in 2016, Trump's campaign rhetoric continued to echo birther sentiments. 2016 presidential campaign announcement. On June 16, 2015, Donald Trump launched his 2016 presidential campaign with a speech at Trump Tower in New York City. During this announcement, he made controversial remarks about Mexican immigrants that sparked widespread debate and criticism. Trump stated that when Mexico sends its people, they are not sending their best. He claimed they are bringing drugs, crime, and rapists, while adding that some may be good people. These comments immediately drew backlash from Latino advocacy groups, politicians, and media outlets, who condemned them as racist and inflammatory. Despite the controversy, Trump doubled down on his statements in subsequent interviews and campaign events, making immigration reform and border security central themes of his campaign. This incident became a defining moment of his campaign, establishing his tough stance on immigration and polarizing public opinion. Racist immigration comments. In January 2018, during a meeting on immigration with lawmakers in the Oval Office, President Trump reportedly referred to Haiti, El Salvador, and African nations as shithole countries. According to sources present, Trump asked why the United States was admitting people from these countries and suggested welcoming more immigrants from places like Norway instead. The remarks sparked immediate controversy and widespread condemnation. Several lawmakers present confirmed the comments, though Trump later denied using that specific language. The African Union demanded an apology, calling the remarks clearly racist. The UN Human Rights Office labeled the comments shocking and shameful. Many critics viewed the statement as evidence of Trump's racial bias, contrasting predominantly black nations with white-majority Norway. This incident reinforced perceptions among his critics that Trump's policies were driven by racial animus rather than national security concerns. Misrepresenting immigration statistics. Donald Trump has often misrepresented crime statistics related to immigrants to support his anti-immigration rhetoric. In 2024, Trump falsely claimed that 13,000 murderers had entered the country during the Biden administration. This claim grossly mischaracterized ICE data, which actually referred to individuals on the non-detained docket with homicide convictions. Many of these individuals were already incarcerated or had been in the United States for decades. Trump's distortion of crime data extended beyond immigration. He falsely claimed that an overwhelming amount of violent crime in cities was committed by Black and Hispanic individuals, despite FBI data contradicting this assertion. He also exaggerated crime rates in cities with large minority populations, perpetuating harmful stereotypes associating racial and ethnic minorities with criminality. Muslim travel restrictions. Donald Trump's Muslim ban was a series of executive orders restricting travel to the United States from several predominantly Muslim countries. The initial order, signed on January 27, 2017, barred entry for 90 days to citizens from Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. The action sparked widespread protests and legal challenges, with critics labeling it as discriminatory and unconstitutional. Multiple iterations of the ban were issued due to legal challenges, with the third version upheld by the Supreme Court in June 2018. To avoid accusations of religious discrimination, the ban evolved to include some non-Muslim countries like North Korea and Venezuela. It significantly reduced refugee admissions and suspended the U.S. refugee program for 120 days. The ban had profound effects on families, separating spouses, children, and parents across borders. President Biden revoked the ban on his first day in office in January 2021, ending its implementation. Throughout Trump's presidency, the Muslim ban remained contentious, with supporters arguing it was necessary for national security and opponents viewing it as a manifestation of religious and racial prejudice. Charlottesville Fine People remarks. In August 2017, Donald Trump sparked controversy with his response to the violent white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. After initially condemning the violence, Trump later stated that there were very fine people on both sides of the protests. This comment drew widespread criticism for appearing to equate white nationalists with counter-protesters. Trump later clarified that he was referring to people protesting the removal of Confederate statues, not neo-Nazis. However, critics argued his remarks failed to adequately condemn white supremacy and emboldened extremist groups. His both sides rhetoric became a defining moment of his presidency, deeply polarizing public opinion. White nationalist connections. Donald Trump's presidency has been marked by accusations of emboldening white nationalist movements. His rhetoric and policies drew support from white supremacist groups, and critics argued he failed to adequately condemn such ideologies. Key examples include the appointment of advisors like Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon, who were linked to white nationalist views. Trump's rhetoric often aligned with white grievance politics, making claims about discrimination against white people. He also implemented policies viewed as advancing a white nationalist agenda, particularly regarding immigration. While Trump denied supporting white nationalism, his actions and statements energized these movements, leading some observers to describe his presidency as a white nationalist takeover of republicanism. Racist tweets controversy. In July 2019, Donald Trump sparked controversy with a series of tweets targeting 4 Democratic Congresswomen of color known as the Squad. The group included Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib. Trump suggested they should go back to the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came, despite 3 of the 4 being born in the United States. These tweets were widely condemned as racist and xenophobic. The House of Representatives passed a resolution condemning Trump's racist comments. Several Republican lawmakers criticized the remarks, though most refrained from explicitly calling them racist. Trump defended his comments, denying they were racist and asserting that the Congresswomen hated the United States. The incident heightened debates about Trump's racial rhetoric, with critics viewing it as part of a broader pattern of racism and supporters claiming it was a legitimate criticism of the Congresswomen's policies. Racist rhetoric against Harris. Donald Trump's attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris have often been criticized as racist and sexist. In July 2024, Trump claimed that Harris happened to turn black a few years ago, questioning her racial identity. He frequently mispronounced her first name and suggested she would be treated as a play toy by world leaders. These remarks reflect a pattern in Trump's rhetoric toward women of color in politics. He questioned Harris's qualifications, implying she was chosen solely to satisfy diversity requirements. Trump also labeled Harris as lazy, invoking harmful stereotypes historically used to demean black individuals. He attempted to undermine her dual cultural identity by suggesting her belonging to both Indian and black communities rendered her inauthentic. Harris often responded with restraint, dismissing these attacks as part of the same old show of disrespect. Black community stereotypes. Donald Trump's rhetoric has perpetuated harmful stereotypes about black communities, reinforcing racist tropes long used to marginalize African Americans. His comments often portrayed black neighborhoods as crime-ridden and dangerous, echoing the black criminal stereotype deeply ingrained in American society. Trump frequently depicted black neighborhoods as uniformly impoverished and violent, ignoring their diversity. He reinforced the stereotype of black individuals as inherently prone to criminality while failing to acknowledge systemic issues contributing to disparities. Instead, he attributed these problems to personal or cultural failings. His use of coded language, such as referring to inner cities as synonymous with black poverty and crime, appealed to white racial resentment. These stereotypes not only misrepresented black communities, but also contributed to discriminatory policies and attitudes that further marginalized African Americans. Racist genetic rhetoric. Donald Trump's rhetoric about good genes has drawn criticism for echoing ideologies associated with eugenics. At a 2020 campaign rally in Minnesota, Trump told a predominantly white audience, "You have good genes. A lot of it is about the genes, isn't it? The racehorse theory. You think we're so different? You have good genes in Minnesota." This statement was widely interpreted as promoting racist ideas about genetic superiority. Trump has frequently boasted about his own good genes, claiming his success is due to inherent genetic superiority. Conversely, he has suggested that immigrants and people of color possess bad genes. In a 2024 radio interview, Trump stated that he believed murderers had certain traits embedded in their genes, linking immigration to genetic predisposition to crime. Civil rights organizations and political opponents condemned these comments as promoting pseudoscientific ideas historically used to justify racial discrimination and violence. Coded racial appeals. Donald Trump has often employed racially charged language described as dog whistles, coded messages that appeal to certain groups while maintaining plausible deniability. Critics argue his rhetoric has evolved from subtle dog whistles to overt bullhorns of racial animosity. Examples include referring to Mexican immigrants as rapists and criminals, using terms like inner cities and law and order to invoke racial stereotypes about crime, and calling COVID-19 the China virus, stoking anti-Asian sentiment. Trump has suggested that undocumented immigrants who commit crimes have bad genes and referred to black prosecutors investigating him as animals and racists. He also used the term riggers in election fraud claims, which many interpreted as a racist slur. Critics argue his statements activate threatening stereotypes and appeal to white grievance politics, emboldening extremist groups and reshaping political discourse around race. Historical racial patterns. Donald Trump's rhetoric and policies on race reflect broader dynamics in American politics and racial relations. His approach to racial issues has both tapped into and exacerbated existing tensions. Trump's political rise coincided with demographic changes and growing racial anxiety among some white Americans. His rhetoric often appealed to white grievance politics, framing demographic shifts as threats to white status and power. His approach has been seen as a backlash against Barack Obama's presidency, the nation's first black president. Policies under Trump's administration, including those on immigration, voting rights, and criminal justice, disproportionately affected communities of color. Critics argue his actions legitimized and emboldened white nationalist movements. Although Trump denies accusations of racism, his presidency heightened national discussions about race and reshaped the political landscape. The long-term impacts of these shifts on American society and politics remain subjects of ongoing debate and analysis. This script was generated using Perplexity AI running the GPT-4o LLM. You can find both a link to the full original Perplexity page article and all the reference sources in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Your time and support are greatly appreciated. To stay informed about future uploads, make sure to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications by clicking the bell icon. Also, if you found this video helpful, consider giving it a like. It's a simple way to boost visibility and help others discover this content as well. For those interested in supporting the growth of this channel, you can either become a member on YouTube or visit our Patreon page. Your contributions can help ensure the continued production of informative, counter-current content. Once again, thank you. We look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, goodbye and take care.